Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Wednesday, Reclamation Day, as it always is. We're an hour early, and by an hour early, I mean an hour on time, and not just on time. No hour, because we've changed schedules. We're now starting at 5 p.m. PST to accommodate my new work schedule a little. Luckily, everybody could do the same. So, welcome back. Um, and as always, because time is precious and I value it so greatly now. Kay, why don't you catch us up? What happened last week?
Sure thing. Just move my drink out of my way so I don't knock it into everything and cause problems.
That's important, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, we started the session where we were actually able to get into we gave it a name and I forgot, but it's tank. But we gave it a name. It's somewhere. Um, During the time that we were there, well, I guess let's start. We did see a couple of the prisoners that we recognized. We were able to actually break in and not destroy people, and definitely didn't press the red button that called sentries down upon us. We actually didn't. Anyways, we
Mhm.
saw Warmth During Rain, and we saw Audie's brother, Alidade, although he is now missing an arm. And there were a few other prisoners that have been freed. And inside, there was a tank. Inside the tank, there was a tank. You know what? We're gonna go with
Uh-huh.
it.
No, go on, continue. This is totally not confusing, and everyone completely gets what's going on. Yeah.
Right? There was a creature that was suspended that we were told was very, very, very dangerous. We decided that we would try and talk to said dangerous creature, which was a Doreen Dragoneye, and managed to persuade and talk to them, and we decided that we are friends for now. Um, they have a penchant for lightning, so they can be a little sparky. Um, During our downtime, we got some food to the prisoners, got them healed up a little bit with the help of White Cross Company, and we managed to salvage a bunch of cores, took a bunch of armor, basically made the best of the awful situation, and headed back. um, let's see, notes. Oh yes, and the Doreen Dragoneye has been come to be known as hybrid because they are not giving us their own name, and they seemed satisfied enough with that. And then we head out, and things seem to be going fine, and we take a short rest. And as we're about to leave from that rest, we are ambushed by winter wolves, which we survived. I would say, but barely, except the tank fight was really a but barely. No, we still downed two people, didn't we?
The Winterwolf fight was tough, probably because the previous encounter took resources from all of you.
Mm-hmm. I just couldn't remember if someone was downed. It's a week ago.
Yes.
Memory's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yes, we did have.
People got beat up. There was a little
Okay,
bit of yo-yoing. Yeah.
excellent. And then I believe we were had a plan. I don't know if we made the rolls or if it was going to be this week, where we were going to harvest and reap from the felled wolves,
That has not happened
get
yet.
some
No.
get some skins, get some meat, that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we're at. We've been beat up. We're bloodied. It's cold. It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. That is all correct. As always, does anybody have anything they would like to add?
No, that was pretty thorough.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, seems good.
Very nice. In which case, we can begin again. We're picking up right where we left off. The very last moments of the Winter Wolf fight, with the last surviving wolf fleeing into the snow further up to the mountainside, leaving you all exhausted, bruised, bloodied, but alive, and with no casualties from any of the civilians that you rescued, protected by White Cross Company as they were. Um, as Kay said, do we want to just jump straight into knocking some harvesting out of the way?
Yeah, let's carve them up.
Yes, harvest.
Rip and tear.
Okay. Harvesting these creatures requires a survival check.
Titan is absolutely going to be harvesting these creatures.
There are 4 creatures present. 3 of the young winter wolves and the alpha winter wolf. Minor spoilers, but there's a chance for a rare component of some kind to drop from the alpha winter wolf, given some of its unique traits you witnessed. Yeah. Are you all just leaving the grisly work up to Titan?
No, cut down a little time. Roz can take one. She has okay survival. Take a young winter wolf.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was gonna say, and Audie would probably want to aid someone. Her survival is a bit better than average, but I'm imagining maybe that Roz and Titan have the better skill, but she wants to help.
Are
Roz is +3.
And +2.
are you proficient in it, Audie?
I mean, proficient or bard proficient?
Proficient.
No.
The system requires you be proficient in order to help somebody with checks. Basically,
then
in all of these.
Then I will probably take a small one to the side if there's 4.
So yeah, big wolf, 3 small wolves, basically. Each of the small wolves, which again, not quite small, quite large actually, but they'll each take about 10 minutes, with the larger one taking about 20. Just so you guys have a rough idea as to your time estimate for what you're doing here.
Lilith will aid whoever's doing the big one. She is proficient. She's just bad at wisdom stuff.
Who's got the best survival?
Titan.
Mm-hmm.
At least when it comes to harvesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Titan. Yeah.
Titan it is.
Just based on the numbers everybody said, Titan is the most proficient when it comes to harvesting.
Okay. Well, Titan. Let's just start with the big guy and get that out of the way.
24.
Wow, really good. That was with advantage?
That was with advantage, yes.
Okay. You absolutely crushed it. Do me a favor and roll a d4.
Three.
Okay. You've acquired 3 common meat, and you get 5 hides. Along with, let me scroll to find the appropriate rank, so I'm not just throwing something at you that you shouldn't have just yet. An uncommon primal essence.
How many hides? 5?
5.
5 hides. 1 uncommon primal essence. Wonderful. Titan's also taking teeth and claws, though, but not for selling or anything like that.
Yeah.
Those are for personal use.
Yeah, given you're 24, I'll allow you to basically take as much of teeth and claws as you want from this guy.
Perfect, thank you.
As long as you are within reason of, you guys beat the crap out of it. So some of it won't be usable, but you can definitely harvest probably more than you need for your purposes. Okay, well, the 3 other wolves, Roz and Audie have both volunteered to make checks. So if you both want to roll d20s, survival, go for it.
Roz got a 12 plus 3, 15.
15 is quite good. Given their size, you're going to acquire 2 hide, and roll me a d2.
2.
2 common meat. And Oldie?
And not to be outdone by her friend, I rolled an 18. Well, actually, I rolled a 16 plus 2 for 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're going to get the same thing. 2 hide and roll a 1d2 for me, or flip a coin, whatever you have available, or odds and evens,
Mm-hmm.
whatever works.
Okay, that's 2.
2. All right, 2 common meat. You guys are getting a lot of good meat. And there is 1 wolf remaining, of which somebody else other than Titan could do in the time Titan is working on the big guy who took 20 minutes, or you could wait and allow Titan to do the last one. Up to y'all. Just realize it will tack on like an extra 10 minutes.
So a silly thing that we can do between Audie and Roz. Audie can't help Roz, but Roz can help Audie to give Audie advantage. We can do that.
That is
We
true.
could do that.
Yep.
I'm guessing Corona was not interested in.
No, she's probably patching up her wounds.
Corona is pretty beat up.
She was, that is true. All right, so I get advantage. Let's see how this goes.
I believe.
Ooh, that's a 17.
Very good. Same as before. 2 hide, D2 for your meat.
And another 2.
Nice. Man, you guys are stocking up. And all it took was, several pints of your blood. A fair trade-off,
It's
I
okay,
think.
we took all of theirs. Well, I mean, we didn't, unless Titan did, but we didn't.
Well, maybe.
When Titan says for personal use, we don't ask questions.
Wise. I also like to imagine that, like, the large wolf's harvesting was like very laid out.
Oh yeah,
Parts and
like,
things set aside in a nice, tidy fashion.
Yeah, very organized dissection of this wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Will just makes a comment like halfway through. It's like, between all the mechanical stuff and this, I'm starting to feel like a surgical assistant.
Well, that job's been open for a while now. If anybody wants to step up.
I don't know anything about actual medicine.
It's around this time, Riot, the sergeant from the White Cross Company squad, jogs up. All of you all right?
We're doing just fine for now.
Need any patching up?
Oh, please, can you help them?
Zephyr can tend to some of you, but it'll take 10 minutes. Per person.
Well, all 4 of them are hurt, so
I can hold up just fine for now.
I mean, as long as you don't see another attack like that, I'm sure I could survive the cold.
How are the folks back there doing?
About as good as you expect them to, given that we couldn't exactly carry equipment enough for all of them to tolerate this weather, so ideally we're not on this mountainside for much longer, otherwise we are going to start running into problems. And kind of pointed to asking questions about the weather and Audie making her statement. Hybrid, as the half dragon I have to is now referred to, kind of is on a nearby like cliff's edge, and there are these kind of waving, flickering pieces of electricity just kind of rippling up from his feet up and onto their shoulders and down over their neck. And you watch it dissipate into the air. And just to nobody in particular, it seems the weather is changing. We should make haste. Corona due to your highest passive perception of the group, you do suddenly notice creeping over the tops of the mountain peaks beyond to the north are these dark black clouds.
Fellas speaking the truth. We probably can't afford to stay here too long.
Okay, so full disclosure. This is your 19. A blizzard is going to beset you all. With it comes the obvious issues with it. However, most of you could probably tolerate this weather. However, you have 30 prisoners of war that you've recently rescued that are ill-equipped for the scenario, and many of which have not grown up in climates that have allowed them to tolerate this weather. The question now becomes, what do you all want to do about it?
Are we on sheer rock face, or is there like a woods nearby?
There is not a woods nearby. You know, if you took a couple of hours, you could probably make it to a wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't one where, like, if you were to take a short 30-minute jaunt, that you could find yourself in a forest. You'd have to get to the base of the mountain or higher up to the east.
How does that storm look?
Who was that directed at, Ade?
Anybody who'll answer. So either
Gotcha.
to Corona, to Hybrid, to anybody.
Can I get the question again?
How far out's the storm look?
For the sake of you all being able to make informed decisions, it's about an hour.
About how far are we from our exfiltration point?
About 6 hours.
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if we send some healthy people off ahead? Build up shelter, build up camp, get things warm. The rest of us, we can help the others get closer. They're going to need help if it gets too cold.
So, like, just as a refresher of our environment, we are up in the mountains. Correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Audie is seeing trees a little ways away. Like, how bad is the snow right now in terms, like, how deep is it?
Right now, the snowfall currently is not particularly heavy. It is steadily increasing from what everyone can see. You guys are all probably walking through only about an inch or two of snow.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we see any caves or anything?
You're more than welcome to look from your current position, in which case I'll happily take perception checks.
Somebody better at perception than type?
Yeah, I can give it a
Okay,
try.
Corona.
I think that's just Corona.
I was going to say, alternatively, I don't have a bad history. Can we remember any that we saw on the way coming up?
What's your passive perception?
+3. So
13. Okay. You can try for a history check to see if you can recall something.
It's a
7.
19.
Okay. For you, Corona, from your current stance, where you guys all are at, you don't see any caves in the immediate vicinity. That being said, the winter wolves probably retreat somewhere. So that could be a choice. Audie, you recall seeing a couple of caves on the way here, but there are still a couple of hours back down the way you're heading.
So we could set camp there, but they're that way.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and she'd share that out. There's a couple of caves, but that's 2 hours. Everything's about 2 hours away. I've imagined. Have we broken camp, or are we actually just standing with this conversation?
You guys
'cause
don't really
Riot-
have a camp set up right now, do you?
No.
No, we don't have a camp set up right now.
Yeah, you guys took like a short rest,
Hmm.
but you guys didn't have a camp here. You were just ambushed.
Mm.
Oh, I guess speaking of, combined with all the harvesting, was that, by my count, it was 50 minutes, but was it extended?
It was
by
no,
10, or-
it was 20.
Oh, it was 20 minutes.
20.
Oh, okay.
20 minutes.
So
Yeah.
Titan
Okay, 'cause
took his
people doubled up on.
Titan took his 20. During the first 10 minutes of Titan's harvest, Audie and Roz each did a wolf, and then in the remaining 10 minutes of Titan's harvesting,
Okay.
they helped each other do the last one. So it was still
Okay,
only
so we
20
didn't
minutes
even take
total.
Too long.
Nope.
Okay. Because I was thinking that maybe I was like a few minutes off a short rest, but no.
Right. Well, I'm just going to say what we're probably all thinking then. We can't just push on. If we push on, then in an hour we're going to be beset by a blizzard and people are going to start dying of exposure and hypothermia. We need to find shelter that's either going to be a cave or it's going to be diverting off to the woods where we can actually make fires.
What's another 2 hours, though?
They just have to survive an hour of walking in a blizzard.
Yeah. Would Riot or Evening Glow or anybody be nearby?
Yeah, of course. Ride and Even Glow are the two in particular. Snowbird, who you've come to take, is the group scout, and is kind of always on the perimeter of the large group you're now escorting. And Zephyr is still more or less tending to the people. Gloom is likewise doing a perimeter patrol. So Evening Glow and Riot in particular are pretty much always on hand.
Do you think we can make better time if we have if everybody's able who can help somebody else along? I mean, maybe one of the scouts have seen something, just because we can't.
Well, I mean, we're sure as hell not carrying everybody back down the mountain, and a lot of them are barely capable of holding themselves up. I mean, Snowbird's going to be keeping an eye out for things. Hopefully, when he comes back, he's got some information. I don't think if we just trudge on down the mountain that all these people are going to survive, especially the ones that are in need of medical attention.
Well, the closest hope for shelter we got is to go into a cave, but last thing we want to do is to waltz on in right into a Yeti den.
So if we did, at least they're not unintelligent. They're just angry a lot of the time.
What do you think you can talk them down?
Oh, better than dying to scold. But that's plan F, let's say.
Something tells me they won't be as hospitable to 30 plus folks walking into their home as anyone in Greenwood might be.
Well, all right. So what I'm going to do, since it's important for us to try to find something, I'm going to go find Snowbird. I'm going to go pick a different direction. We're going to walk for about 10 minutes and see if we can't find anything. If we don't, then we probably have to try to find another place or another location. Those winter wolves had to have gone back somewhere, right? Or come from somewhere. So that might be a lead.
One of them did escape from us. They went that way. They might try to circle back to their home.
Odd thought, but do we know how far winter wolves are willing to travel to hunt?
You can make a nature check.
I would love to make a nature check.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I will-
11 plus 3 is 14.
Okay. It is not uncommon for them to travel a decent ways to hunt. They typically will claim a large area territory for themselves, especially if they're stronger, and hunt anywhere within any given point in time, and they'll make burrows from themselves in whatever location they happen to be in. They do tend to always find a place to hunker down at, even if they have a home somewhere else. That being said, winter wolves are in the food chain, usually below the yetis and frost giants in the mountain range. So since you all saw a yeti earlier, you think that they have a small den to themselves where they would not want to be in the way of the yetis.
Personally, I think tracking that wolf that just left while we still have the trail might be our best bet. It would at least lead us to shelter, even if it's not quite big enough. We can squeeze.
It's definitely better than nothing.
All in favor then?
Aye.
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 Let's do it.
And
Good with me.
it won't be much. They're not. They're definitely not tanned yet, but we have hides. Got some furs. Keep people warm.
Well, if we can get to an enclosed space, Evening Glow has something that can help. And worst case scenario, we can negotiate with the chapter of Fire Merc to warm the place up if we have to. But I'm gonna go get Snowbird. We're going to see if we can't find a trail on that wolf. Any of you competent trackers, hunters?
Define competent.
Are you good at it?
No, but I know how to do it.
How hurt are you right now?
Fit as a fiddle.
Then you should probably stay behind and protect the civilians in case more wolves show up.
You got it.
All right. I'm going to go find Snowbird. We're going to see if we can't get a lead on the trail. If we're not back in 10 minutes, assume we're dead and make up another plan.
Understood.
Riot lifts up her axe, hefts it over her shoulder, and then at a jog, heads off in the direction that she sent Snowbird off into. Meanwhile, in the distance, you can see the looming black clouds, heavy with snow, making their way over the tops of the mountains, carried by some easterly wind.
While they're tracking, I mean, wasting time is wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Titan's going to use that extra 10 minutes to harvest some more fangs from the smaller direwolves.
Yeah, shoot, go for it. You just want to hit me just with some survival checks.
How many do you want?
One for each of them, so 3.
All right, so quick. The first one was 6 is 13.
Okay.
Next one's only a 15.
Mm-hmm.
Do better. That is a little better. A 21 for the last one.
Okay. Respectively, and in this order, roll a D2, a D4, and a D8. Whatever you roll is the amount of teeth you've harvested.
All right. D2. 1.
Mhm.
D4. Also a 1.
Yes, mutilated the little ones.
And then the D8 was a 7.
Oh,
All right. I've got.
that being said, it is going to take about 10 minutes. So while Titan's doing that too, is anybody else doing anything in this time? So as to not be wasting time? Resting is a perfectly viable answer.
I think Corona is probably going to clean herself up a bit so she's not like literally bleeding everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then just go and fill in like the civilians what's going on, just so that they're not kept in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you find that the information is already being partially disseminated by the White Cross Company
Okay.
members that are there too. But there are 30
Perfect.
people, so it does help to talk to everybody, because even though they were all crammed into the same tight space, it's not like all of them are friends, so not everyone's socializing.
Yeah.
And several of them are just straight up traumatized, so it's just like just nodding and hi, I'm existing.
That's what she's doing.
Okay.
Lilith is just going to keep a close perimeter around where the refugees are, kind of circling, just to make sure nothing gets snuck up on.
Mm-hmm. Wise. You want to make me a perception check while you're doing that?
Sure. 19 total.
Very nice. Seems as if nothing is sneaking up on you. Roz, Adi?
Just resting, relaxing, trying to stay close to others to keep them warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Adi's gonna huddle up, but she's also going to take the chance. Like we harvested the hides, but would they still have like scraps on them, or do they need to still be cleaned before someone could use them?
Yeah, you've only harvested them. They haven't been
Okay.
worked on at all. So
Okay. Yeah,
these are bloody hides you have quite literally skinned off of wolves 10 minutes ago.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna look them over in these 10 minutes, what time she has, and kind of try and clean them up a little bit. So if somebody does have to wrap themselves up in it, it doesn't smell. I mean, it's still gonna smell bad, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, less bloody chunks and more just skin.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair.
One thing, because
Yeah.
remember I can do this, but also it's a long shot. Lilith will try reaching out to see if there's any spirits in the area.
Ooh, bold choice.
Ask if they know if there's any shelter nearby.
All right, we have to see if you can generate one. Just roll me a D100. See if you can find your Everest climber that got lost up here and died.
84.
Wow. That's pretty good.
I will use both inspiration if I have to.
No, that's not how this works. My percentile die are the one things I do not allow to be manipulated. I still do think it's just below the threshold, though, sadly.
Like a log shot.
Yeah. No, it was good thinking, though. It's worth mentioning, for those of you that are just in the area, keeping an eye on things, Lilith, Corona, then eventually Rosinati, like you would all kind of collectively notice. Infern, the chapter of Fire Mercenary that's come with you, who's still minding his own business, just tagging along until you guys get back. Where he's currently standing, there is no snow, and there's just a plain circle of gray slate rock underneath him, where his natural heat is just melting everything around him in a small radius.
Must be nice.
He's doing the thing that was observable when you first originally arrived here, because he's not wearing winter clothes like some of you. He is doing what looks like a breathing exercise, and you can see from his chest up his neck just this internal glow, like there's a forge within inside his chest that he just kind of stokes by breathing in a certain way to keep himself warm. But 10 minutes will pass. And in that time, you will see the mildly ethereal hawk companion of Snowbird. It'll fly in originally high in the air and then swoop down low and let out a low hawk's screech to grab people's attention. Evening Glow will sight it, and then it'll kind of take a quick, lazy turn and begin soaring back off in the direction you all saw the wolf escape from. Oh, all right. I think it's our signal. I think we got something. All right, everybody, let's go.
Right then, we might actually survive the night.
Mm-hmm. Audie will be looking around, counting heads, making sure that nobody fell asleep in the snow or fell behind, kind of thing.
Yeah, Zephyr is doing her damnedest to make sure everybody is staying conscious and as healthy as reasonably possible given the circumstances. But rest assured, nobody is currently, well, there are a couple of people who are immovable because they have to be carried on stretchers. But besides them, the rest of the survivors are pressing on despite these circumstances. You follow the hawk for a short distance, about 15, 20 minutes. By this point, the snow is beginning to pick up. It's beginning to affect your visibility some. It's getting colder, the temperature rapidly dropping as those clouds get closer and closer overhead, taking away your sunlight. Is there a particular marching order to all of you?
I don't think so, but I do think Roz is staying with Lilith and trying to keep her warm. Definitely not being obvious about anything.
Of course not, definitely not.
I think Lilith is staying near the back of the group.
Yeah, I figured Audie would probably be somewhere near the back as well, unless encouraged to help with something or move someone along. Again, she's really wants to have eyes to make sure no one falls behind.
Okay.
Titan would just be amongst the wounded, trying to aid in every way he can.
And Corona?
Corona would probably be somewhere in the middle, just because she doesn't have the stamina to take a strong ambush hit and be up front or anything. So,
okay. In which case, that means more members of White Cross are at the front than at the back to make sure that there's good coverage all around. Which is to say, eventually, as this small herd of people you're all governing are pushed along, you will notice, most of you last, due to your positions. Eventually, though, that you come across a spot in the snow where you could tell there was an altercation due to these streaks of blood in the otherwise white snow. And then you're pushing your way up a small hill, and then once you finally reach the crest of it, there's a small plateau. It's kind of a weird oblong shape, where it's quite short on the side you've come up, and then you can tell it runs for about 100 feet to the east, where it looks like there could probably be like a cliff trail or something you could follow further. But about a third of the way down from where you guys arrived, when everyone's finally up on the plateau and most of you are bringing up the rear, there is a cave further ahead to which you can see Riot and Snowbird standing in the entryway, now eagerly flagging everybody to come in. After you've gotten everybody inside, it's a pretty tight fit for as many people as it is. A lot of people will not be lying down to sleep. The entrance to the cave is about 7 feet across, 8 or 9 feet high, and then it tapers a bit as it goes inside, opening up only into a smaller, maybe 10-foot like radius interior. Not perfectly symmetrical, a rough hewn rock. Stalagmites, stalactites to make notice of. There looks like at one point in the back, based off of this patch of ice, if someone were to take a closer look at it, looks like it might have been fresh water when it was not cold. But it's weird that it's frozen still, even though, last you checked about 30 minutes ago, it wasn't freezing. But you can get everybody inside, to which there is, as you trickle in, the last of you come in the rear, you do see that the last Winterwolf corpse is sort of draped off to the side of the entrance. Orion will kind of jut a thumb at it, who you can clearly see is streaked in the wolf's blood. I saw you all pretty eagerly cutting those things up, so I figured I'd leave it for you. Otherwise, I was going to toss it off the cliff so it doesn't attract anything else. So if one of you is going to see to it, make sure you dispose of it after you're done, please.
Yes, of course.
So you're inside the shelter. The snowstorm is really kicking into full gear. Visibility outside the cave mouth has dropped to maybe 10, 15 feet. The temperature since you ended the fight to now has dropped below freezing. You're in the cave, and that'll help, but it certainly won't keep all these people alive if you try to wait out the storm in the current conditions. Does anybody have anything they want to do?
Harvesting. Harvesting.
I think Wolf is just gonna kind of look towards, the greenies and the mercenaries to say, do we have materials to at least make a fire?
What fire? We don't want to smoke ourselves out. Need to have as much air breathable as you can.
I can make something. I say so very begrudgingly because I have to break a bunch of my equipment to make it work. And any of you arcane magic users? That isn't the dragon eye over there? The red dragon eye over there? The normally red dragon eye over there?
You mean interfering?
Yeah.
Titan waves.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I can do arcane.
Okay. I'll just I make the point. I need a common arcane essence distilled. If any of you can do that, I can make at least a fire source that won't spew smoke in our face while we're in the cave.
I could try.
I can
tried.
I can explain it to you. I just can't do it myself.
I could certainly try.
Great.
But barring that, we can always possibly pay Infernal Little Mary may keep us all warm.
Well, I figured if we could get away with it without him charging us more, all the better. Last ditch effort. Survive on our own merits, things like that.
Right, just tell me what to do. And just to make sure, do I need proficiency in Arcana, or can it just rolls?
Hang on, I'm mashing together a rule set real quick.
Okay.
So in order to make this work, because making an essence is not an easy thing, it will usually take about a work week to actually make a stable essence. What Evening Glow was after is more or less a temporary one, which is to say, any arcane spellcaster that would like can participate essentially in a ritual that will require an Arcana check at the end of it to determine if a unstable arcane essence can be created, enough to power the gizmo that he will make to fill the cave with warmth. So if you're the only one, Adi, it's going to take an hour.
Okay. If we have that.
That, or I guess pay the merc.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll spend the hour.
Again, it's getting cold, but the hour of exposure won't be what kills people in the cave.
Mhm.
Not likely, anyway.
It depends on where people need Titan most. If other people are going to step up and do the harvesting, then he'll go and help with the arcane. But if not, he's going to be harvesting.
Other survivor people.
It's probably better for Titan to do the more important thing. And I think the rest of us are at least trained in survival and can help each other to probably get something decent.
Yeah, Ross can go do some harvesting so the Titan can do the more important job of keeping people alive.
Okay.
Lilith is
That's so
Titan begrudgingly
disappointed.
leaves it to you.
Yeah.
Lilith is
No.
trained.
Reminds
so
you
she'll
that he
aid Roz.
wants teeth and claws.
Yeah, I'll get teeth and claws too. Just don't let people die of hypothermia.
Fine. I will help with the Arcana.
Okay. So, first, let's just knock the harvesting out of the way. Whichever you want to decide to do the main role, you will be granted advantage by the other. So make a survival check at advantage, whoever.
I already did. 13 plus 3, 16.
Okay. You will be able to acquire 2 hide. You can roll a 1d2 for your common meat. And unfortunately, you will only be able to acquire a slim pickings on the teeth, so a 1d2.
Okay, got 1 meat and 1 tooth.
1 tooth. Riot was pretty vicious to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Adi and Titan. It will take an hour to do this ritual. Given that Evening Glow will explain the process of making the essence, which usually takes a much longer period of time, and essentially explains that this process is kind of a cheap, cobbled together version to make something that will only last a short while, due to desperate times. I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but I will. Do either of you have any remaining spell slots?
No, but I do have inspiration points that I can convert to spell slots.
To make it simple, if you have spell slots, this ritual will be easier. If you don't, it's still doable, but the DC will be higher.
Okay. I
do
mean,
not have spell slots.
surviving in warmth. I'm gonna regret this later. I guess would it be a 1 spell slot, or could I convert both my inspiration points to level 1 because I can't cast level 2?
Well, let me go check the rules as written for this.
For the
'Cause-
heroic acts or for your
No, for
Ritual.
for the heroic points.
Well, I had it here.
Because yeah, like I said, this is kind of outside its scope for how this is normally supposed to be used, but I would let you convert the 2 points for a second level spell slot. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Again, because I don't technically have second level, but yes.
Well, oh, true. Never mind.
The cast without spell slots just says when you lack the spell slots to cast a spell, you can expend a number of inspiration points equal to the spell slot level to cast the spell instead. To cast a first level spell, it would cost 1 inspiration point. To cast a 5th level spell, it would cost 5 inspiration points.
Yeah,
So you just spend the 1 inspiration to get a spell slot.
basically.
Yeah, so it's whether this is actually casting a spell before would it be 1.
Again, I'm not going to argue the semantics of the wording in this because you would still be expending a spell slot to do this, although you are not technically casting a spell. But
I see where the problem was.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So it will prevent you from converting both to have 2 first level spell slots, but you can still convert 1 to get 1 first level spell slot if that's what you want to do.
I will still do that and take the 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Titan, are you going to do anything similar, or are you good?
No.
Okay. In which case this will take an hour. Adi, you're going to expend a first level spell slot. And then at the end of it, I need you both to roll an Arcana check.
All right. Nat 20. 26 total.
Very nice.
Not quite as impressive, but a 17.
Very good.
Nice.
Still pretty good.
Okay. Thanks to the spell slot, you managed to beat the threshold. You will successfully be able to make an unstable arcane essence that will fulfill Evening Glow's purposes for the gadget he's going to spend time making. It will work for 6 hours. During that hour's time, between Corona, Lilith, and Roz, are you doing anything of note other than just trying to help people, keep people warm?
Once keeping people okay and settled is mostly taken care of, I think Corona's probably going to take the remainder of the time to actually look over the gnomish pistols that she has.
Okay.
And just try and see if she can learn them without necessarily field testing them. Just giving them a good look over. That's it.
Okay. You can make another intelligence check if you like.
Sure. Just straight intelligence?
Yep.
Okay.
It's Tinker's tools, but you're not proficient in them.
Yep. Oh no. I'll use a hero point. Why not? These might come in handy. Oh, so close to the 20 on the dice. Nope.
Unfortunately, he's still a mystery.
Yep. Weird gnomes.
You understand the basic workings of this is a firearm. I would know how to reload it and I would know how to fire it, but that is where it ends.
Yeah, that's right.
Roz, Lilith, anything noteworthy?
I think Roz, not especially noteworthy, but is protecting the entrance to the cave, settling in for a long, long night where she does not sleep.
Noted.
I have a mechanical question. Does the create bonfire can't produce smoke? If it's not igniting anything, if it's just there.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's magical. It seems like one of those things where you would purposely not want it to create smoke unless you wanted it to create smoke. I would say it probably doesn't. Or you could probably even decide if you wanted it to.
In that case, during the hour that it's taking to get the other thing set up at the expense of probably exhausting herself since she has to cast it every single minute.
Uh-huh.
She is going to just keep casting create bonfire to keep people warm. It's a 5-foot campfire essentially.
Mhm. It's very helpful. That is not insubstantial.
Thank you, adventurer.
Mhm. Look at you using your star signs.
I picked one at random since I didn't have it at the start of the mission.
All right. With that all said and done, after the hour is finished with the essence ritual, Evening Glow having explained the process, during that time he likewise would have spent time muttering to himself a little begrudgingly as he dismantles his multi-repeater crossbow along with several other gadgets that he had in his pack. And after the hour, more or less makes a mechanical version of what Lilith has been maintaining with the cantrip, which is it's a large bronze box in a bronze like tubular frame that's held aloft on struts. And there's a central door, kind of like a washer machine, a front loaded washer machine. That when you're done with the ritual, he will take the essence, place it inside, and close shut the front casing. And after a moment where nothing happens, he gives it a solid thwack on the side, and then eventually you kind of see it spark to life as all the gaps in between it begin to slowly illuminate with what looks like warm orange firelight. And after a little bit of time, kind of like waiting for a car to warm up when you first turned it on in a winter, it begins to slowly generate heat that fills the cave. All right, crisis averted. Good job, everybody. You and you. And he goes over, will offer up an enthusiastic high five to Audie and Titan. Good job, everybody.
Titan gives him a high five.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
quite a little gadget you made.
Yeah. I kind of do this with most of my stuff. I just get really sad when I have to break down one of my favorite gadgets over, other things. But in a pinch, this will work. But without the essence, we would all, be popsicles. So again, good job.
Titan just nods. Audie did surprisingly well.
Yeah, for someone who was unsure.
I pay attention when lessons are taught. And she's kind of given a bit of a smirk.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna sit down for a little bit. I'm kind of tired. Right, kind of comes up after more or less being the second guardsman at the door with Roz. All right. I think this situation is about as good as it's going to get for now. We dole out blankets, keep people huddled together to share warmth. None of you would happen to have an easy way to close off the entrance to the cave for a temporary amount of time, would you?
How big is the entrance to the cave?
9 feet tall, 7 feet across.
9 feet, 7 feet.
I mean, in a
Yeah.
pinch, I got a shovel. If we need to put snow to cover up the entrance a bit, I could help with that.
We could make a temporary cover out of the hides we've recovered. I'm pretty good at stitching the things together. as snow piles up, I have one breath weapon left. I could freeze it and make a more solid cover.
I actually think both of these are a pretty good idea. There's no reason for us not to do both. Corona, you and I, we're gonna take shovels. We're gonna start piling up snow at the base. Titan, if you want to start stitching those hides together so we can string them up in front of the cave. When the time comes, we can solidify it a bit. That way we can try to reduce some of this wind.
Heard.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Rest of you, feel free to get comfortable, rest up. We're gonna have to sleep in shifts. Yeah, Titan, I'm not gonna ask you for any rolls to stitch the hides together. You're insanely good at this already. It'll just take you it'll just take you some time.
All right, thank you.
Corona, how hurt are you exactly?
She's at 5 HP.
Oh, pretty
so
hurt.
She's pretty. Yeah.
All right.
I think a check would be justified, probably.
Yeah,
just
you're gonna
on that
be able to
alone.
do the work. Just make me a con check
Sure.
or a save, because you're proficient.
Okay. Would this happen to be related to exhaustion?
It would be.
Okay, then I have endurance, which means I have advantage on abilities, checks, and saving throws to avoid
Yeah.
gaining exhaustion.
Shoot,
Advantage.
you stubborn human.
Oh,
you.
there we go.
Very nice.
Not 20.
Yeah. I mean, Corona, you know you're hurt. You know you're winded. You know this environment's only going to take more of it out of you. But you also know that this is one of those moments where, you know, if you don't stay standing and you do the work that you volunteered yourself for, that people's lives could be lost in this tiny little moment up on this mountainside.
Absolutely.
And so you press through the exhaustion to the point that when you're there with Riot shoveling snow, after a point, the exhaustion just kind of fades into the background.
I think that's exactly what would happen, yeah. She knows at the end of the day, she's got to do this.
Okay. You guys are in a cave. You have warmth. There's a cover being made for the entrance to deter the wind and snow from billowing in. Do I assume you all tried to attempt a rest? Are there any others like Roz who are just going to stay up the whole time?
What
We'll
is-
try to rest.
Yeah, so we're going to attempt it, but we know it's not a comfortable rest.
It is not great, no.
Titan needs a long rest, or whatever the short rest we can get up here.
Mm-hmm. Well, for Titan, really the problem here is usually the cold for most people, but that isn't a problem for you, Titan. So you could, do you have a bedroll on you?
I do.
You could achieve a long rest.
Oh, hell yeah.
For those of you that have like an adaptability to cold environments, because you have a roof over your head, warmth. If you have warmth, shelter, food, water, and something to sleep on, you can still get a long rest. If you don't have the adaptability, such as someone with cold resistance, a la Titan, or Roz, due to her racial features, there is a check that you'll have to make to determine it. So you could still do it, but there's a chance that you might not get the full long rest, just a short.
Okay.
I'll brave the check.
Once the contraption had been made and it started producing heat, we'll have just kind of slumped against the wall, waited until she heard sleep in shifts in 6 hours, and then slipped into a trance.
Noted. Well, Riot and Zephyr were volunteer for a shift. Since we're aiming for a long rest, so 6 hours of rest, 2 hours of light sleep is the typical formula. Does anybody want to take first with Riot and Zephyr, or are you all going to take an opportunity to go to bed right now, like Lilith?
What do you mean rest?
Okay, other than Roz, the mad woman.
Roz does not have adaptability, actually, so she's just as cold as everyone else.
Oh, I thought you had a mountain-born trait for this.
It helps
Winterborn
with
trait?
it helps mountain-born. It helps with acclimation, but not cold.
Mmm.
Hmm.
Problem then. Well, you're not sleeping anyway, so
No, it doesn't matter.
you have to deal with the check no matter what.
I mean, if the shifts work out, Titan will take first shift.
Okay. So you'll stay up in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
Second. Unless you were going to volunteer for first, Audie.
No, she was gonna probably try and get some rest up front.
Okay, so you're going to take the tail end?
Yeah, probably. Because I'm guessing the number,
There are
if Lilith also sleeps early, it'll be Titan,
yeah, so
Roz, Lilith, Audie.
Lilith can take the second half because she only needs 4 hours.
yeah, because elves.
And I guess I just assumed that Corona was going to get as much sleep as possible.
She would try to, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Okay, so we'll tack Corona and Audie to the back end.
Sure.
Lilith will come in on third and fourth shift. Titan's going to do first, and Roz is just staying up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. We're just gonna get some of the stuff out of the way. All of you, roll d20s for me, please. No modifiers.
Oh, no, I can't do this again.
Oh,
No,
I think
no,
there
I
goes
did
my
it
other.
again.
Mm-hmm.
Can
7.
I reroll it?
7.
5.
5.
And that's with my inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Bold choice. Interesting choice. I like it.
1.
Good.
Don't
Sam.
make me say it. Don't make me say it.
Mm-hmm.
the mountain giants
make me
come
say it.
busting down the door.
Don't. I rolled a 20 again.
Yeah. You don't say.
I do say.
Yeah, so everyone else who was worried about it, this wasn't your overnight check. This was an encounter roll.
Yeah, I realized that after I spent the inspiration. I was like, well, too late. I already did it.
You can double. I'll let you take that one back if you want.
If it makes you feel better, I rolled a 5 both times.
It does. And yeah,
might
again,
take
if you were going to make an informed choice about it, then
Yeah.
it would be different. So yeah, you're more than welcome to take that back.
Can't believe this cave was a mimic the entire time.
Oh, don't. Why would you say that?
I wonder where those Yetis live.
It's a great idea. For what it's worth, when you all came into the cave, there were no signs of a Yeti living here. Just some winter wolves.
Water was curious.
Okay. So Titan, you of the party that is awake. It's you, Zephyr, and Riot on watch. So make a perception check for me.
Can do.
Roz isn't sleeping, but she can't make perception checks.
You
Or
could.
it's 5. It's 5. I mean, she can't succeed them.
Yeah, but yeah, you
I mean-
proved yourself correct. You can.
Shockingly, a modified 20 for Titan.
Wow.
My terrible perception.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And both Zephyr and Riot knocked it out of the park. They did very well. In this instance, with this blizzard raging, it's loud outside because of just the wind howling, the gusts, the snow. It's hard to hear things. You can occasionally peek out from between the threads that you've very delicately sewed together for the of the hides to provide cover. But still, the visibility is very low. It is actually a collective effort between Riot, Zephyr, and you, Titan, for all of you to recognize that sight is bad, hearing is bad, but there is something you feel. Something that has heavy enough footfalls for you to recognize it as you at the cave of the entrance to the cave, that there is something very large walking around nearby. And you sort of all collectively, between the three of you, kind of like pass a glance between like, did you feel that? I thought I felt something that, yeah. And you all confirm it with one another that you definitely believe there to be something, a problem, very nearby. Am I the only one here that thinks it's best that we just sit pretty and don't make any noise?
Titan just kind of slowly nods.
That's the spirit. Okay, hang on. I have to go pull up a stat block real quick. For no reason. As you all sit there, bated breath. Roz, you eventually get clued into the fact that when you see all three of the others, that you're there with Watch, as they've become increasingly still and quiet, that you know there's something amiss. And a couple minutes go by. Titan, you stop sensing the footfalls, and the exchange glances between you and the other two confirm that they've likewise felt it move away. I think it's best we err on the side of caution and stay quiet for the time being.
Titan slowly nods again.
But doubling down, we should also make sure we're ready in case it decides to come barging in. For now, nothing happens. The 2 hours will pass. Technically speaking, for those of you who are awake, I guess actually, technically speaking, for those of you who are asleep as well, if you want to take a short rest, you're more than welcome to.
Love to.
Yes.
Says the fighters.
Yeah.
Rogue 2.
0 hit dice, but
I get my exploit die back.
Nice.
Really dumb question.
Mhm.
Where are... Oh, there are the hit dice. Never mind.
There you go.
As in, say, if we're doing short rest, would short... Would short rest or long rest recover hit points in these conditions? Rather, would a long rest recover hit dice in these conditions?
That's going to be determined by your roll later.
Okay. Let's take the health while we can get it.
Yeah, this is a scenario. If you have hit dice, I would absolutely recommend you use them.
Does Song of Rest count? But I guess
No,
I'm
you're
asleep.
asleep. Unfortunately. Yeah, that is one of those things, like if you took the first shift and then while that time passed by, if Adi was doing, a bard thing, then it could have helped. Unless you suddenly develop sleep singing.
Not yet. Nice. I'm fully healed. It was a very good short rest.
For now.
For now.
Okay. So the first 2 hours will go by. Titan, I'm going to assume you're going to go sleep now.
Yep.
I
will not do a long rest until the long rest time is up. So we'll just
Yes.
keep him where he is right now.
Well planned.
I'm a dum-dum.
What'd you do?
Sorry. I forgot that I'm not playing a sorcerer. I'm playing a bard. So I
Okay.
rolled a d6 and got a 3. But I'm like, wait, my hit dice is a d8.
It is D8. I mean,
Technically,
D8.
it looks like.
technically, I have 1 less.
That's okay.
Take that hit point back.
Was there anybody on second shift? I know Lilith isn't untrancing until 3rd, and it sounded like Audie and Corona were going to take the tail end, so it's just going to be Roz.
Sounds like it.
Okay. In this scenario, Riot and Zephyr are going to go to sleep. It's going to be Snowbird and Gloom that replace them. And you can tell there's a quick, very quiet exchange that's partially done through hand signs to communicate the earlier noticed threat. But then the next leg of the rest will begin. Roz, would you like to roll a perception check for me?
Yeah, sure.
What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, wow. 19 plus 1, 20.
Really good.
Nice.
Thanks, it's my first good perception roll ever.
During this 2 hours, the blizzard stays raging. While you've been alerted to the earlier noticed threat, it does not appear to return during the shift. And 2 more hours go by unimpeded. Third shift. Lilith is up now.
Is this the point where I roll if I got a long rest or not?
Yeah, technically. Constitution save.
Pretty good. 19 total.
Sufficient. Long rest acquired.
And it's a full long rest with everything that entails?
Yeah, you don't have any finicky things like spell slots to worry about, so yeah.
I do get spells back,
Ye-
technically.
Yeah, different though.
Okay.
Because it's not spell casting, it's acquired from a feature. And it's a one-time use kind of thing.
Gotcha. It will take her place on watch.
Snowbird goes to trance. So it is just Gloom, Lilith, and Roz. Is there in the quiet of the cave, is there anything said between Lilith and Roz during these 2 hours?
Don't be too loud, but there's something out there, and we're not sure what it is, alright?
Okay. Well, what do we know about it?
It's big.
Like Yeti big or Frost Giant big?
I have no idea. I know what the other people said. It's big, and we're staying quiet.
Okay. Give Roz a quick hug.
Are you stealing my warmth?
Yep, it's all mine now. Sucks to be you.
If you say so, I think it's great to be me.
It's clear Gloom has noticed both of you and what you're doing. Says nothing.
Dyer, if you're talking, you're muted.
Thank you. Gloom
It's
noticed.
not your best moving.
Yeah. Gloom noticed what you guys were doing. Didn't say anything about it.
Good. As usual, it's not obvious in the least what's happening here. We're so good at this secret.
Yeah, you guys are always so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely.
Meanwhile, Gloom's over there. If he were in a webcomic, he'd have a thought bubble above his head going, "Forever single."
Audie would cuddle Gloom. They just didn't ask.
Time and place. However, this is a new round, so perception check, Lilith, Roz, and Gloom.
Back to normal. 6.
5.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, Gloom did roll well, so at the very least, if there's something, Gloom will
Look,
notice it.
I'm trained in this. I just have no modifier to my wisdom.
Mm-hmm. That'll pay off eventually, just not right now. The good news is the creature outside is also rolling very piss poor, so it's the reason why it hasn't found you guys yet.
Good. If it's shaking the ground, it's big.
It's big.
Bigger than Yeti big.
Yep. Yeah. The 2 hours, they trickle on by. Neither of you notice when Gloom stiffens, or when Gloom readies his crossbow, or when he takes a knee and raises it to his shoulder and holds it there for several minutes. Because you two are too busy being cutesy.
They're adorable.
Oh, damn, being gay almost got us killed.
But then eventually, Gloom will lower the crossbow, let out a heavy breath, and then perch back up on the on his pack and just wait. And so those 2 hours will go by. To which Gloom, thoroughly stressed out, will go to sleep. Evening Glow comes to replace them. Last shift. Corona, Melody. I'm assuming you both are getting awake, arising, or
That's the plan.
or are you just hard sleeping through the last 2 hours as well? Because that's also acceptable given some of your current conditions.
Audie
think-
would be waking up.
I think Corona would be waking up too.
Okay.
Just a note. I mentioned the heater would work for 6 hours. Is it starting to die down now?
Yes. It is ebbing off.
In which case, I think Lilith will refrain from being on watch, move to the back of the cave so that she can
Bonfire.
be as quiet as possible and just continue bonfiring.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not
know.
ideal, but it will keep us alive.
Yeah, she
I mean,
tells the people on watch to like gesture to her if they need her to not say anything for a bit. Actually, does it have vocal components? That's a good question. It does, yeah.
It does. It's got everything wrong with it is going on with Bonfire. Yeah. Melody, Corona, you come to, stiff in the joints a bit, but rested well enough. It's at this juncture that you will likewise be informed by Private Gloom, who's going to bed, of the threat that has been looming outside the cave, but has so far not found the collective group.
mhm.
And they tell us for how long as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because the fact that it's been circling around for like 6 hours says something.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what, but
Yeah, it's come and gone. Like, it's not there. It's not outside. It hasn't been
Okay.
circling on the plateau for the last 6 hours. But it does seem to continue coming back.
gotcha.
Clearly, it's just lost.
Yeah, just
Oh,
might have a
shoot.
really keen sense of smell with tracking the blood that you guys spilled from the wolves.
Guess
Go
we'll
on.
just have to keep quiet.
Because we sealed the cave as best we could, how warm is it inside still?
Given that the device has only begun its tailing off, like it is actively dying, but because it's been active for so long, and you took the included step to close off the entry to the cave, warmth is holding. It is within reason to expect that the warmth that has been gathered in the cave, along with the bonfire that Lilith will try to maintain, along with the general body heat of the collective group here, that it will probably at least last the remainder of the 2 hours that you have for this long rest.
Okay. Is Evening Glow up yet?
Yep.
Yeah. Audie would then go to find Evening Glow and ask if a second attempt needs to be made. We don't want to wait the 2 hours before needing another one.
If you think it have it in you to do it, we could use another for sure. Remove some of the question of our scenario.
Absolutely. Especially if we have to wait another 6 hours before the creature goes way outside.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I don't manage it? I won't hurt anyone, would I?
No.
Right.
Maybe just yourself.
I can handle that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She's gonna convert the last inspiration to try and make another essence. Somehow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it will take you an hour.
Mhm.
And you have to make an Arcana check.
All right. How badly do I hurt myself?
How badly did you roll?
I rolled a 1, so a 5.
Yeah, not great. Good, bad news, roll a d8.
Because of course I did. It's an 8.
You're going to take 8 points of force damage.
Ow. Glad I healed.
Yeah, so a couple things. During this process, takes an hour. Roz is awake on watch. Evening Glow is awake on watch. Corona's awake on watch. Titan is asleep. Lilith, you're in the back of the cave trying to actively keep things warm with the bonfire cantrip. For those of you awake and on watch, so Corona and Roz, make me perception checks.
11.
Oh, thank God. Nat 20, 24.
Very nice. Evening Glow is not too shabby either. It's in this initial stage of this rest that you all now collaboratively, all of you on watch, feel the arrival of whatever this creature is, this actively hunting creature, as its heavy footfalls vibrate the cave beneath you. You feel it get near enough for all of you to tense, to hold your breath. And then, as the many times before, you feel it trail off. And while slightly relieved, you never allow the tension to release, knowing that it's in the area. You're probably inevitably going to have to deal with this. And then somewhere in the back of the cave, there is a pop about an hour in. As this, what was a small floating mote of arcane energy, backfires onto Audie and throws her onto her butt. And the creature is going to get another attempt to detect you.
I was going to say, but through practiced skills, she didn't scream, but it still went pop.
Mm-hmm. There is a tense moment that not too long after that happens, and all of you kind of immediately look back at Audie, see what's happened, realize she's probably fine, and then you all slowly begin to turn around, grab weapons, muscles tense as you feel those footfalls return. And it wanders, and you feel it get closer. And you sound like something metal tapping against the side of the mountain. There's this very dull, somewhat distant, resonant ring as it feels like it's checking the mountainside, like it expects a false face somewhere. But it doesn't seem yet to find you. And the last hour passes by. So, for those of you who haven't taken your long rests yet, if you don't have an adaptability, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. In Titan's case, you're A-okay.
Thank you.
Roz, likewise, Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Because you stayed up.
Oh no.
You're
Oh,
good,
okay.
Corona.
Thank God.
Roz,
Right. Roz got a 15.
good enough. You will not receive a point of exhaustion.
Cool.
The rest of the members of White Cross are going to get up. Gloom and Zephyr and Evening Glow go to tend to the survivors. Riot and Snowbird come up to the front to check in with all of you that have been on watch. So I noticed we weren't modeled in our sleep. That thing's still out there?
Oh, yeah.
It got real close. Felt like it was really trying to find whatever was around here. I'm real worried that it might actually manage to find us when we all go out as a group. But I hope I'm wrong.
I think we're going to have to deal with it eventually. It's going to keep coming back, and we can't be fighting it out while we're trying to keep people alive.
Nah, there's no way.
Given the size that it sounded like, I don't think that either group of us is going to take it by ourselves.
Sounded about as heavy as that gnomish machine we fought, if not bigger.
I'm of a like mind. I think we need to deal with it. Ideally, we leave all the people that can fight back here in the cave, dig our way out so we don't reveal exactly where they are in case things go terribly wrong. And
we could attempt to lure it to a trap position.
that would require us to be able to set up a trap. Do you have any ideas?
What about an avalanche?
I don't think it'll kill it. Might depose it for a time. I think that'll cause more troubles for us than anything. Having to try to climb through all of that.
I mean, at the very least, we could set up an ambush, but it all depends how much time we've got.
Well, this cave's warmth is only going to keep up for a little while longer. Lilith is going to tire herself out eventually.
Right. Well, if it's been skulking around here, what are the odds that it's a predator looking for food?
Likely, even.
We've got a lot of meat from those wolves. Might be enough to lure it to where we need it to go.
Was thinking the same thing.
And I think that's where the other side of your thought comes in, Titan. Get it to go where we want with the meat, but we can't rely on it to just be happy with that. We take the advantage while it's distracted.
Yep, that sounds like a pretty solid plan.
All right. Well, the most difficult hurdle in this plan is sending person or persons out with the meat to set it up somewhere without being detected by it first. Any brave volunteers that want to come with me?
I'll go.
I would, but I honestly will be a hazard to this mission. Titan just kind of clanks his armor a bit.
Yeah, it's wise you stay back. Same for you, Roz.
Yeah. Unless you want to add me to the lure. Oh, I don't want that though. That's a joke. Please don't do it.
No, I figured that part we'd keep easy, and I'll set it up with Lilith, given that I can't carry all the meat on my own. And then I'll just be the bait.
You sure?
Yeah, it's not the first time.
Very brave of you.
Well, unlike most of you, I can take a beating.
I really want to say something disrespectful. I'm going to bite my tongue.
That would be wise.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds like a good enough plan for now. Let's get everyone awake, check on everybody, eat something, and then we'll go see what it is we have to go ambush and kill, and hope that it's not something that isn't going to just make us a page in history.
I'll follow your lead. Take some of the meat.
Oh yes, of course, the classic bloody burlap sack of meat. But before we enact any further, because I'm still getting used to the new timing, we're going to take our break. We'll be back in 10 minutes to see how this is going to go. Bye. Or see you soon.
See you soon.
And we're back. Like I said, without any further ado, we've returned. The party hunkered inside a cave that they have, for a short period of time, for a longer period of time, a reasonable period of time, managed to keep warm. have blocked the entrance, which we can assume is probably buried now, based off of the blizzard that has been going strong for several hours. But for what it is worth, now that most people are awake now, it feels like, based off of the lack of harsh wind, is dying down. That or you're extremely buried. One or the other. You don't know yet. A plan is being concocted to ambush whatever this creature was that has been trying to find you, but has failed to do so. And it was agreed upon that Sergeant Riot and Lilith were going to take all of the meat that was harvested from the frost wolves, the winter wolves, which I believe is 11 pieces? Question mark? I saw one of you keeping track of it.
10.
10. Does it include the one that we got harvested outside the cave?
Yes.
Okay. 10 pieces then. Which will be split between Riot and Lilith. And they are going to dig their way out as to not expose the cave. And attempt to go find a place to plant the meat to ambush the creature. Are we all in agreement? This is what's been settled on.
Yes, what we talked about.
Yep.
Let's do it.
You just sound so excited, Sam.
Oh, don't I just?
Or is this Roz nervous because her bestie is going out unprotected?
You know, Roz is great at keeping secrets and would never show that she's nervous about Lilith's health or safety or well-being.
That's reasonable. Okay, well, Riot will lead the way by carefully and deliberately shoveling a tunnel out, because when the part of the hide cover that Titan so lovingly sewed together is kind of drawn back, as expected, there's a very large wall of snow that has been built up. And as I said, deliberately and with great pain, Riot will begin shoveling a tunnel through and out. And is going to try to do it in a manner that will lead them, both Riot and Lilith, off to the side, but not off of the cliff. So that way, if you do pop up and for some odd reason you get whack-a-mole, it isn't directly in front of the cave. Lilith, would you like to help Riot make a survival check?
Yes, I would like to help them make the survival check.
Great.
And Lilith, just spread out. Her cloak is still light, and she's kind of pulling it up over her head. So when she pokes her head out, it's not as obvious.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So a couple of minutes go by. Riot shoveling, moving the snow aside, kind of enlarging the tunnel and packing some of it down to create a bit of structure and allow you to walk. When you're about 75% of the 80% of the way there, where Riot is about to get ready to emerge, is where I would like for both of you to make your stealth checks.
24.
My dice ran away. Not cooperating. Okay, I got it. Riot's is good, but not a rogue's 24. Let me just quickly get our average there. Honestly, you really helped make that nice and round. So the overall total stealth score is a 20 between the two of you. You've worked your way out. You see Riot turn around, give you a wordless hand signal to stay put. And you watch as she breaches the surface of the snow above her and slowly begins rising her head up. You can see that there's light pouring in from above. Enough clouds have cleared to have provided you some sunlight. She's going to make a perception check really quick. Oh, wow. Really good. Natural 19. You see her head rise up. You kind of see the shift of her body as the head periscopes and takes a look around. And then you see her very slowly lower back down. Something you all know is that White Cross Company frequently communicates using the palm sign language, which is essentially a sailor's shorthand, and hand gestures and body language that is that orcs teach, and has been just widely accepted all around the world. And there's a moment where you see Riot start it and then realize you probably don't get what she's saying.
Lilith will sign back, I understand,
Oh.
because that is one of the languages I took.
She signs back to you, surprised, but then immediately follows it up with giant skeleton.
Lilith doesn't sign back, but I think her face speaks wonders and just like, what?
Mm-hmm. To which, again, wordlessly, with her hands, will articulate roughly 18-foot tall skeleton, clad in leather and metal armor, with a horned helmet and an enormous axe. And then just kind of with a punctuated at the end, an undead.
Lilith will sign asking if she should let the others know that information while we wait for it to move on enough for us to peek out.
She stops and takes her pack off and then just kind of looks at the meat and then just looks back as you and Science go tell the others.
Lilith will quietly make her way back. So, hey, plan probably isn't going to work so well.
What's wrong?
It's a giant 18-foot skeleton.
Oh, what?
Well, like one that's walking upright.
Yeah. So, don't think it's interested in me.
Oh,
I didn't get a look at it myself, but apparently armed, wearing a helmet.
Well, luring it's probably not going to work, but we still need to take this thing on.
Should we just... I mean, it's clearly interested in us for some reason. Maybe it just wants to murder. So we might be able to bait it. It just means that whoever's doing it's going to be at risk.
Titan, would you like to make an Arcana check for me?
I would love to make an Arcana check. Nat 20 for a total of 26.
Hot damn. Man, I love
Hot
your
damn.
timing. All right. So, between the last game I ran in the sitting and now, undead function on a very different level than they used to. Undead
Makes sense.
before used to be or could be independent. Because what used to happen, and this is something Titan would know, is that an undead previously could have been what used to animate them was a part of the soul of whatever is animated used to be trapped in it, and it being restless is what animated it, and it would try to do everything it could, and eventually it goes mad and just becomes a mindless undead. Necromancers likewise used to do the same thing, where they used to have a body and then they would anchor the soul to the body and force it to rise again, but usually under an enslavement spell that they could then control them with. And this is why the reason why undead and necromancy used to be a very, very hated practice and was actively hunted down. after the Day of Judgment, and in collaboration between Talnum and Janardan, necromancy no longer functions like that. Souls, when they die, are immediately passed beyond, and there is no force in this world that is known that can anchor a soul to a body anymore when they've died. It is literally part of the reason why resurrection is now basically impossible. However, in that same vein, necromancy in the same category doesn't work anymore. However, in the way that arcane practitioners often do, they find new ways. They have adapted. Necromancy now, in order to animate something, you split off a part of your own soul and place it in whatever it is you're reanimating, and is what gives it life. So it is now a fact when an undead is discovered, it is linked to something that has purposely summoned it. So that being said, if there is a giant 18-foot skeleton walking around, it has a summoner.
All right. Yeah, Titan will communicate that. Well, we can probably kill it, but we'd still be needing to worry about a summoner. And to what ends that the summoner summoned this thing is also a concern.
The army purpose. Easy to send a skeleton out to find prisoners that are lost.
That could be the case, but it doesn't really seem to fit their MO. Most of what they've sent out have been mechanical. For them to be employing undead just doesn't seem to fit. But I wouldn't rule it out. It's possible.
Well, with any luck, the summoner isn't nearby, and we won't cross their path on the way back after defeating their skeleton.
Do I know if there's like a distance for these things, or could the summoner be miles and miles away?
Short answer, yes. Longer answer, and still short answer, is depends on how powerful the summoner is.
All right.
Which, again, given your natural 20, your basic understanding of necromancy in terms of summoning as it is now, to be able to animate that and not be near it has an implication that it's a very powerful summoner.
All right. Then, well, if you guys couldn't visibly see the summoner, then chances are high it was a very powerful summoner. They could be some distance away.
Which is good for us, but definitely something we'll have to report back when we make it home. Anyway, are we still going to try to ambush it using Riot as bait?
We have any other options?
Titan looks to the rest of Red Cross Company. You guys are a little more experienced with this stuff. Any suggestions on how to handle it? Ideally, we could lure it away from the group and have a small contingency protecting the prisoners and get them out of here. Then the rest of us can catch up, but I don't know if it's wise to split our fighting force or not. How much we need to do to take this thing on.
Snowbird is the one that steps up. Given the unknown variables in the situation, not knowing the exact strength of the enemy, the risk we take by providing a distraction and then using that distraction to try to move away the civilians to a safer distance or just further along on the journey means they are half as protected by our numbers And likewise, if the other party fails because all of us are not present, then the threat is now going to continue pursuing. And as is likely, we will not be able to stop them from doing the worst possible scenario. Given Riot and her predilections, the reason why she volunteered the way she did is that she would prefer it if we just did an all-out attack now. Neutralize it at only the cost of any of us versus any of them. And he nods back towards the group of rescuees in the back of the cave. That way, at the
Right.
very least, we can very likely force one outcome over another.
Riot dug the tunnel pretty long. It comes out quite a ways from the cave. I don't think the civilians would be at risk if we fought on the plateau.
All right. Then, if we half commit to this, we probably all die. So let's fight.
Well then, let's all get into position. I'm assuming Riot's down in the cave, Lilith?
Yes.
Would you be so kind as to relay to her that we are going to get ready? And as soon as she gives us a signal, we will come charging at the enemy.
All right. Lilith will make her way back through the tunnel and relay that.
Lilith, while you're going back there, Snowbird's going to turn to Titan and to Roz. If things look like it is going to go poorly, I want both of you to focus on trying to shove it off the cliff. That way, at the very least, if it is a skeleton, it'll probably be brittle enough that it won't survive the fall.
All right. I can do that.
It nods.
Very good. All right, White Cross. Get ready for combat. Dangerous enemy, unknown strength. Zephyr, stay back here and support from the cave. Make sure nothing gets in. Tend to the people as necessary. Aye, Corporal. And the rest of you, any preparations before battle?
I did have one question, which was, because it's going to take me a bit to learn this, is long rests. We don't get any health back, any hit die back, unless it's comfortable. This just makes sure we didn't take exhaustion.
Incorrect. Did you succeed on your save?
I thought I did. I got an 18.
You did. For now, until I actually establish concrete rules, you've achieved a long rest.
Oh, excellent. That means I have spell slots and health.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
And 1 hit dice.
And 1 hit dice, which I only spent 1 of.
There you have
Okay,
2.
just making sure.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep it like as transparent as I can because I don't have concrete rules. I'm trying not to change them too much on you all. I do have a document in the works, by the way. I just feel like a lot of there's going to be like a version 2.0 patch when you guys hit tier 2 that's going to add some rules and change some things. Ideally for the better.
Okay.
Yeah, so any final preparations before sudden burst into combat?
Nope.
Not really, no. I think stowing away the shotgun and instead using the gnomish pistols.
Sure.
Because they're longer range.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good to go.
Because of the nature of random encounters, I do not have a very specific map for you, but we're going to do this on a premise that I have think I've used once or twice before. We're going to keep it all theater of the mind. We're going to refer to distances as near, far. Near is you can reach it within your turn. Far is you can reach it by dashing. And for every vary, it's another 30 foot of increment, basically. So if it's very far, you would need 90 feet of movement to get there.
Okay.
Just to keep things simple. And I'm sure someone will ask a question about it, and that's okay. Because even I screw this up sometimes, even though it's supposed to be simple. So that in mind, with that we can roll proper initiative. I'm going to throw you all onto the page here. Did I actually drag you all over here? I did. Okay. And then we're going to go over here. Toggle that on. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, please roll initiative while I go grab our beastie. Okay. Okay. Before the first official turn of combat occurs, outside, you are all going to hear a loud concussive blast. It is going to shake loose a lot of the snow that was on the front-facing part of the cave. Just roll some dice real quick. Oh, nice. That is how it all begins. As the vibrations shake the stone beneath your feet, Snowbird bursts through the front of the cave entrance, pushing aside and kind of slushing through the snow. And you all now catch sight for the first time a gargantuan skeleton, 18 feet tall, wearing what looks like a set of armor made of leather and steel, large spiked pauldron with what looks to be an enormous wolf skull jammed onto one of the spikes, and it is holding an enormous great axe that is currently wielding with both hands, and it is caught aflame in certain places where you can see where Riot is now standing. There is a large 20-foot radius clearing of snow where there is now just rock and debris around her, of which the creature was caught in. Snowburst is going to fire 2 arrows. And unsurprisingly, arrows, not very good against skeletons. They kind of skitter like through its ribs and off of them and just kind of fall into the snow. He swears and darts off to the left. Lilith.
And just making sure with all the snow, I assume it's essentially just flat plateau, no cover up here.
Yep. You can dive into the
Alright.
snow if you go prone. So you can do the up and down dance if you're really trying to find something to hide in.
Sure, she's taking this fight seriously enough that she doesn't mind doing something a little silly if it helps. She's wearing a white cloak. She'll dive down and try to get out of its sight.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Oh, wow. Rolling really good on those today. Another 24.
Yeah, really good.
And then she'll pop up with half her movement and take a shot.
Go for it.
And that is a 23 to hit
23 will hit.
because Did you say it's carrying a weapon?
It is carrying a weapon.
Sure, worth a try.
Saving throw?
Yep.
I'm assuming strength or dexterity.
I believe it's strength.
Okay. And what is your DC?
DC is a 14.
Okay. And it doesn't have any size restrictions?
Does not appear to.
Okay. It is going to fail.
Ooh.
The arrow is going to lodge itself in between some of the bones of its hand, and it's going to stop it from clutching onto it in the same way. And it's just going to sort of, as it was wheeling back to swing it, it's going to slide backwards out of its hands because it's now fighting against the arrow, and eventually shatters it in its hand, and then begins looking for where the axe fell behind it.
Yep, drops at its feet. But it will take the extra d4 from that because it failed for a total of 19 piercing damage.
Nice.
That is Lilith's turn.
Melody.
All right, we're all jumping out and surrounding this thing, I guess, facing it. You were saying close, like, or near,
So near, far,
very
very far. Yes, the skeleton from where you all are, is
Huh.
far.
Far.
You could reach it by dashing.
Oh, okay, that means I should be able to mock it from this distance. 60 feet.
Yep, perfectly fine.
All right. Yeah, Audie'll pop her head out and kind of with a chuckle. You're lucky we took care of the wolves. They would have chewed you to pieces and buried the other half. We're gonna mock it. Which you need to make a wisdom save. Just hoping it's not a very wise skeleton.
What's your DC?
It's 14.
Okay, I rolled a 16 minus 1. It made it by 1, unfortunately.
All right.
It does turn and
Wow.
look at you and like turn its head at an unreasonable angle. Like, what'd you just say to me?
I should kind of give a bit of a blink. Go. Titan, I don't think its head's supposed to function that way. You might want to go fix it. And give you some inspiration.
Hooray.
Assuming I get that back on a long rest.
You
Because
do.
it didn't auto-populate.
It would be weird if you didn't get it
There we
back
go.
on a short or a long rest, you know?
Yeah, I didn't toggle it on. All right. 1 sec. And I'll keep my distance and end my turn.
Okay. Titan.
Well, this thing can be reached by dashing, but that seems like a bad idea to just charge at it all by myself. So let's go to the near distance, which I assume is just the
30 feet.
the normal movement,
Mhm.
and then I will get my dodge action on.
Okay. A perfectly valid tactic. It is Riot's turn. Riot, who is smoking and singed, is going to need to open her sheet. There we go. Is going to heft her great axe and is going to just run at it and take a wide chopping blow at its legs to try to cripple it. First attack will hit. Second attack will hit. Oh, I roll very sad. Both attacks will connect because she swings recklessly at it and is going to do a total of 16 points of slashing damage. But that is all. Evening Glow, now armed with a basic crossbow, is going to fire it at it. And hit. For a whopping 5 points of piercing damage. This manages to take a chip out of the skeleton. The bolt kind of strikes into one of its bones and it just kind of cracks away at it, weakening it. Gloom is going to do the same. Is going to miss. Not as fortunate with as Evening Glow, where it just kind of slides off the smooth bone. Roz.
Roz is going to close to near and throw a javelin.
Okay. Fire away.
For a 10, which I think misses.
Which will miss.
That's okay.
And it's one of those that just kind of it goes through the space between its rib cage and its pelvis and just lands in the snow beyond it. Zephyr is staying far back, but fortunately, as all White Cross Company members do, has a crossbow. Will fire and miss with a natural 1. The giant skeleton's turn. It is going to turn around and pick up its axe. And then it is going to turn around and bring it down onto Riot. Twice even. And it has advantage because she was reckless. I kid you not, the first roll is a 1 and a 2. This enormous axe is going to scythe the air where Riot was as she dives forward to avoid the blow. The second attack, she is not as fortunate. It's going to be a modified 20. The axe is going to come down. Oh, that's a big number. Don't worry, my D12 is apparently going to roll the same for everybody. Is going to hit Riot with the damage being mildly reduced for 8 slashing. I can't talk anymore. Honestly. Really, really, really good turn. For team allies. Corona.
Corona's going to apparently I can't talk almost too.
Oh, it's contagious.
She's going to move into near, and though I suspect it probably won't last very long, would Titan like to buddy cop just in case the skeleton changes its mind and doesn't attack
Sure.
Riot? Okay. Then she'll use her action now that she's a little bit closer to shoot the skeleton with the gnomish pistol.
Go for it.
There we go. Ooh. 10 to hit.
10 is not going to hit.
Okay. She'll. She doesn't have a need for bonus action. That's her turn.
Okay. Snowbird will do much of the same. Fire off 2 arrows. 1 will connect. For a whopping 11 points of piercing damage. It clips it in its side, and you see a rib snap off. He's going to continue moving further up the plateau, closer to where the trail grabs the cliffside. Lilith.
Second verse, same as the first. Drop down and hide.
Mm-hmm.
For a 16 total.
16 will hit.
For hiding.
Oh, for hiding. Brain. 16 is sufficient. It is not passively very perceptive.
For movement to get back up and take a shot. That's only a 14 to hit.
A 14 is just enough to hit.
Okay. Well, it picked up its axe, so we're gonna
Strain.
do it again.
Okay. This time it'll succeed.
All right, that's expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it rolled very poorly the first time.
Still 18 damage though.
Yowza. Big damages.
Rolled almost max on that one. That is Lilith's turn.
Okay. Melody.
All right, we're gonna mock it again. Hopefully, a little better this time. We've prepared something. 3, 5, 4, Finn. I see the height of a giant kin. Be you alive or be you dead, we'll take your bones and make our beds. Make a wisdom save.
Not bad.
Yeah. Breads also would have worked. Kind of.
Yeah, but I don't want to eat it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's good. It's hitting them back with another fairy tale, you know, where they were going to grind our bones for their bread. I'm just saying. Okay. Wisdom save. 8 minus 1 for 7.
Awesome. That's 2.
Uh-huh.
2 psychic damage.
Adi. As it's swinging on Riot. It misses. Hits her the second time. Is pelted by projectiles. And then you say that to it and turns around and it stares at you with these glowing blue eyes. And you just watch as its jaw falls off and hits the ground. And then it just crumples into a pile of bones.
Well done. Do we need any more stretchers?
Weirdly
Did you
enough,
just-
that is the end of combat.
That was something else.
Did you just insult a skeleton back to death?
Yeah, I think I might have, yeah.
That's so cool.
That summoner is going to be so pissed off later.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if they know when their minions get destroyed, but we should probably hurry, right?
Yeah, but could
Just
you
in
imagine
case
if they
they-
could, like, play that back? I'd be pissed.
It rhymed and everything.
It did.
The Titan's gonna go up to the skeleton. Give it a look over.
I mean, I dare assume you could harvest some things from this if you were so inclined.
That's exactly what I was inclined to do.
If the roll is something Lilith isn't proficient in, she will help. Don't
Yeah,
know what
roll
it
do
is
you
to
want for
harvest a
skill
skeleton.
survival.
Yes, it's still a survival.
Okay. Can Lilith help with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then with Lilith's help, it is a 25.
Really good. Roll a percentile die, please. A D100.
76.
Okay. Roll D4.
3.
All right. From the withering remains of this skeleton, you can see the flicking magical essence that was animating it leave behind the separation of that energy that animated it and the decomposing remains of the body, you managed to extract 3 uncommon poisonous reagents.
That's exciting.
And I'll even tack on a little extra and likewise give you 4 leather scraps and 6 metal scraps. Riot comes trudging up in the snow, again singed around the edges, axe thrown over her shoulder. Good job, everybody. I knew I was in good hands. Didn't have to worry about anything.
Honestly, that went too well.
Why do you, Corona, why do you have to go and say something like that?
Because it just did.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bit of a buzzkill.
I mean, I'm noticing that, yeah. All right. Snowbird, go get everyone else rounded up. We got to start moving before the Jinx comes back to get us. Hi, Sergeant. And the rest of White Cross goes into the cave to start getting people ready to leave. Yeah, I think now time is of the essence in case whatever summoned that thing notices it's not here anymore. It sends more.
All the more reason to get the hell out of here, get home, and finally actually sleep.
Should we dig the tunnel out a bit more so we can get people on structures out easier?
I mean, we should probably just dig a pathway out. I think we can take down the cover and all that. Assuming you want to take your hide back with you.
Let's get it done. Between all of us, shouldn't take too long.
Yeah. If everybody participates, you guys can get all your all the hides that were used for the cover of the cave. And if everyone else helps, you can basically create a nice easy path for all the former prisoners to ease their way down through all the gathered snow.
And it wasn't bluster, I was serious. If you need some of the bones, we can make a sled out of this.
Titan's just nodding. Yes, bones. I need bones. Bones, teeth. If we've got rope, we can make a quick sled.
Can any of you
See, good.
control the sled down these slopes?
I was meaning for pulling the. It's easier than carrying it to just put them behind you.
But most of it's downhill. I don't think the sled is exactly optimal right now.
All right then.
I mean, I won't stop you if you want to make it. You have the hides, you have the bones. By all means, you can sling it together. I just don't think we can use it right now, not until things level out some. Although, again, I won't stop any of you from having a good spot of fun. I feel like all of you have earned it.
Don't tempt me. I've done good today about being responsible.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But 20 minutes will pass. Pathways dug out. All of the rescuees are prepared and awake. Most of them. Everybody's had food and water, and are ready to make the rest of the journey. Any naysayers that are not otherwise?
Only yays here.
Yeah.
Yays for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just quickly, CJ. Like
Yeah.
things for Titan's personal use, I'm kind of keeping track of on my own. Are you okay with that? Where I'm like, yeah, Titan needs these things in order to build his next level. I'm just kind of,
yeah.
Grabbing little things here and there, being like, okay, this many teeth, this many claws, this many this.
Yeah, that's fine.
These aren't things that are going to be used for anything else but building Titan.
Yep, perfectly
Is that
fine.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Then I will continue to do so.
Was there any desire? Oh no, because we're fleeing the summoner. Never mind. I was gonna say, was there any desire to wait till sunup? But because it is about 2:30 in the morning right now.
While it is still quite warm, despite that.
Ross, you see that? Shot its axe right out of its hand.
And here you've been doubting yourself. You're good at this.
You can praise me more on the way back. I don't
would
mind.
love to praise you more. Want me to praise you loudly or quietly? Are you
Quietly.
gonna get embarrassed if I do it loudly?
We can all hear you anyway.
You can't hear nothing. Close your fucking ears.
Riot just gives you the bird.
I like her. I'm gonna buy her a beer.
All right, everybody, let's get moving. Preferably quietly. And you all begin the trek back to the way location to use your tag to transport all of these people back home to the camp. Rest assured, there are no more encounter rolls to come.
Oh, good. I'd roll another 20 if we did.
You want to roll one right now just for fun and see if that's true?
Yes. No, it was just a 6.
That's what I thought.
Your dice knew it wasn't real.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. Another 6 or so hours down the mountain. It gets you back into an area populated by the tall, green, moss-covered trees that you're all very familiar and intimate with. You cross the distance into the lower part of a valley where the hills, the foothills lead up to the edge of the mountain and eventually find the location back, which was marked by one of the White Cross Company members with a bit of paint on a large black rock to note where you landed. There's a brief 5-10 minute pause as all the people that have been rescued are checked on again, making sure everyone's doing well. Everyone is doing as well as they can be. Those that were severely injured definitely need proper medical attention and rest. But those that have been able to walk are, like most of you, just enduring. And when you get there, Riot pulls the tag from inside her breastplate, looks around, does a quick head count with her troops, and once everyone's confirmed, all right, everybody, relax your muscles, take a deep breath, and 3, 2, 1, and she tears the tag in half, and all of you are pulled through a spatial rent that yanks you from one location and drops you into another. And before you know it, you're back in the beautiful rainforest of Saphinus, where the temperatures jumped to 30 degrees. There was a cooling breeze carrying in the scent of the ocean. As you all arrive and are getting your bearings, for those of you who want to make your teleportation sickness check, by all means, I'm now just leaving it up to all of you.
7.
On brand.
We're gonna tempt some fate here. Con save, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's a natural 20. Sorry.
Stop it.
She's
This
just
is just one
flexing
of
over
those
here.
few times where I'm just going to assume Titan fails. Like that's just part of his character now. He hates teleportation. It makes him sick.
Fair enough. That is allowed. You all land on the other side, and the smells and scents and temperatures remind you of where you've been living. There is a sudden rush of movement as you hear people giving orders. Several individuals wearing White Cross Company tabards, members of the Orphans Refuge clerics, and volunteers come and immediately begin quickly speaking to Riot and other members of the White Cross Company to get ideas to those that are in need. And he watches quickly the ones, including your brother, Melody, are carted away to be cared for. The rest of them are just sort of being escorted just off of the dais of the teleportation gate and are being tended to, checking things, appendages, helping make sure people don't have frostbite. Food and water is being provided. Blankets and clothes. You can see off to the side, like it was very clear that people were ready and waiting for the return of all of you to care for these people that if you came back successfully, they knew you would have.
What about the prisoner and hybrid?
I'm assuming somebody was managing the prisoner the whole time. Probably Roz, who kept knocking his lights out.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not dead from internal bleeding in his skull.
You wouldn't feel bad if he was.
Let's find out.
Titan gave his recommendation that they not continue to do that, but if Roz continues to do it, then he's probably going to die from brain bleeding.
Did Roz continue to do it?
No. Once he was gagged, no.
Okay. He will be alive then. He's in pretty rough shape. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just from a real life perspective, that amount of being knocked out will kill you in like hours.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those.
Just is super bad for you.
Yeah, he could be. He's probably. Well, he's alive for now, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Who knows how long?
I'll find you in the middle of the night and knock your lights out one more time.
Permanently. Hybrid is rebuffing people that are approaching them, but is also not acting aggressive or anything. People have come up, tried to offer something, even just like, here's a blanket, and like just the electricity they give off is enough to leap to the blanket and give them a little burst of static electricity. Except it's persistent, so people eventually give up. Hybrid just kind of begins doing what Hybrid was doing on the mountainside, which is now kind of observing with very eager eyes the new surroundings and people, keeping a respectable distance from everybody, but likewise just seeing what this new location is. And wordlessly, Infern just goes back to the chapter of fire. Doesn't say another thing to you. Or to anyone specifically. It does take a few minutes as you guys are all settling in. But eventually, you will see a trickle in of a couple of people that you all recognize coming to greet you. Specifically, people from Greenwood. You're going to see Orin, the retired paladin. Lotus will be among them. Corona, your father.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, you're going to see Rory is going to show up. They'll kind of all arrive in a group.
little bastard. What you doing up right now?
There was a lot of noise, and people said that people came back from Greenwood. And I knew that was you. So I had to come and see you.
Oh, isn't that just sweet? Look at you, you're a nice kid after all.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah.
stories if you like. We fought a skeleton 18 feet tall.
He looks at you, Lilith. She lying to me?
Surprisingly not.
Really?
Not only did we fight it, but Audie killed it by insulting it.
He looks at you, Audie. Really? His eyes are getting wider.
Again, surprisingly true.
And Audie's just grinning and nodding enthusiastically, like, yo, he did.
Okay, tell me all about it, and then I'll go to
That's
bed.
right. Okay, well, I gotta go to bed, so I'll tell you along the way, all right?
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll tell him all the stories about
Mm-hmm.
insulting the skeleton to death and fighting the wolves and the tank and everything.
Yep. Corona, your father approaches you, but he just hugs you. He just comes up and hugs you immediately. But it's not like rushed, but it's also clearly he was concerned.
Yeah.
After a long, quiet moment, he will then hold you at arm's length. Good to see you. Are you in good health?
Never been happier to be back. Fought off more wolves than I think I ever have before.
Never been a problem for you before.
No, but the ones back home never breathe ice. I can tell you all about it later tonight, but it was wild.
That would probably be for the best. Let's get you back into bed. You have plenty of time to tell your mother and I all about it.
Sounds good. I need a rest.
Come on now.
Krona's just gonna lug her backpack up, look back to make sure everyone else is doing okay, being taken care of, and
Mm-hmm.
then follow her dad.
Things seem taken care of.
All right.
And as I mentioned, amongst them, Lotus was there. She immediately kind of inserts herself into an embrace, nuzzles up against the underside of your jaw.
Lotus, you little bastard, what are you still doing up? I'm just kidding. That's not what he says.
Bad time to take a drink.
How's it going, beautiful?
Well, certainly much better now that you're back. And with so many people.
Yeah, I managed to save some.
And I saw warmth amongst them. Any other people from Greenwood?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Were there others from Greenwood?
Just two.
Just two others. That's right. Yeah, there were two others.
Yeah. So there was geez, I forgot her full name. It's right here on my sheet in front of me, unless someone else can beat me to it. She
There
is
was Warmth After Rain.
Thank you, her. It's Warmth
who
After Rain.
Lotus saw.
Yeah, she's the roofer. Yeah. Yeah, and then Alidade.
Right, yeah. We got Alidade and Warmth After Rain.
Well, it's good we have two more that have come home.
Heighten odds.
This will do a lot for the people in the camp.
it does my heart good to know that at least some of them are still alive out there, Lo.
Well, those out there, I'm sure you'll keep bringing him back as soon as we can find him.
Tight nods, suddenly feeling very tired. Yeah, whatever it takes.
Let's get you back to the tent. I'm sure you're exhausted.
Oh, you'll hear no objections from me.
She smiles, nuzzles up against the underside of your jaw again, and then with an arm around your waist, will, with her head leaning on your chest, lead you back towards the camp.
I'm dragging a sled of bones.
Yep, no one's gonna ask anything about it. That's for sure.
I need those bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not weird at all. Did anybody stay behind, or did everybody? Because basically, Lilith, Adi, and Roz. Did you all basically go with Roz and Rory?
Lilith stayed behind. She's keeping an eye on things. She just finished a long rest like 6 hours ago, so she's not really tired herself.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Audie's gonna stay behind for a bit too.
Okay. In which case, you guys are kind of sitting there over. Oh. Okay.
Sorry, I was gonna say she will be sending though a message to whoever's going back. Say, if you see my mom, just tell her to Audie to mount the group, but he needs care first.
Don't worry about it, honey. Your mother's asleep right now. You'll have a chance to break the news to her yourself. But then we'll head off. As Adi and Lilith, you stay behind. Orin, the forest elf, who was there, just kind of also seeing who came back, how things are unfolding. He just kind of quietly steps up between the two of you. Good work out there. These are a lot of people that might not have made it much longer if you all didn't bring them back.
No. I think this kind of work is why we all signed up, mostly. Just glad it went so well. It wasn't easy.
No, I bet it wasn't. And those who so often want to put shackles on those that should be free often don't make it easy to remove them. As I've already echoed before, you've done good work here. I was coming just to check up on all of you. But specifically, Lilith, I just wanted to let you know. It sounds as if you have somebody from your family that's going to be visiting sometime soon. I don't know who. Just Covert mentioned that you were going to have a visit. One of your siblings.
Oh. She smiles. That's great to hear. Thanks for letting me know.
No problem. Melody, do you need anything?
No, I'm just not ready to go to bed yet. That's all.
All right. Since I'm often a night walker, I'm going to go keep an eye on Alidade to make sure he stays well.
It's appreciated.
Again, I will continue repeating myself. Good work. both did a great job bringing these people back. And he just sort of gives you both, like a very fatherly, grandfatherly pat on either shoulder, and then heads off in the direction of where the orphans' refuge is set up. In the final moments of the session, anything anybody wants to say or do?
I know what Artie's going to be going to do, but that can technically wait till next session.
Same.
Yeah, most of what Titan needs to do was next session stuff. So
Okay. In which case, final words from anybody?
Seriously, Audie, that was so cool.
Yeah. Just regular bunch of hunters now, aren't we?
Yeah. Got a lot of work to do. But that felt good.
Yeah. Bring it back. Like you said, bring it back those who, belong here anyway. That's why we do it. And the worst fights we've been in are nothing compared to what they've seen. We'll get them all. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. We are going to finish there. First of all of you take a +1 ability score improvement.
Ooh.
Oh,
thank you.
This changes nothing for now.
That's fine. It's outside your level, or of your normal ability score improvement. So it's only a bonus. I'm inclined to want to give you level 3, but I still have to do a thing for somebody. So,
Who's that?
I wonder. It's crazy. I don't know.
Me neither.
So that being said, I know everyone's been thinking about it, but you can start actively preparing to do it. For those of you that have set paths that don't have anything that's going to change session to session, we can probably start getting it ready. As for the other mystery person who we don't know who we're talking about at all, I'll clearly have to talk to them a little bit off stream to figure out what best to do. Until we can decide on something.
Whoever they are.
Yeah. Otherwise, unofficially, I guess, maybe, I don't know, officially, whatever, you're all going to be level 3. So over the course of the next week, on your time, as long as I'm not at work, if you just message me and want to work on your sheet, let me know, and I'll boot up the server so that way you guys can have access to it.
okay.
And I can always boot up the server when he is at work.
That's also true. I can leave my credentials on a notepad on my desk. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that's that. So first of all, hey, everybody, good job on a successful mission completed. And one that had way more twists and turns on the backside than I ever predicted. But in a way that I feel like in terms of something that is always a struggle, like when you have more combat encounters added, sometimes they just feel like a slog. I actually feel like all of these really added to it, which was kind of nice. And it gave you guys plenty of opportunities to strip things off of them as well. So, yeah. That was something. Good job, everybody. Thus also because you did it all and survived, that's also why you get your nifty +1 right now, because you guys really, you did it. Good job.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
It was difficult.
It was.
That was hard fought.
Freaking natural 20 encounter rolls. Also to nobody in
You're welcome.
particular.
I wonder who you could be pointing at, honestly.
It's weird.
Resident problem child.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn.
Yeah, jeez, Quinn. But yeah, hey, like I said, I think it was good. I had fun. I hope everyone else did too. And we're now back in between the thing. I just want to just make a brief mention. Things are going to be a bit more pointed. My transition from not working to working definitely took a toll on me, where some sessions I was just kind of doing nothing and having you guys try to facilitate things, which I know can be frustrating and sometimes uninteresting. I will now be taking a much more active forefront because things have settled for me. My brain is very active in terms of game things now. So expect more personal interactions, expect a lot more people from Greenwood interacting with you and doing things, and actually seeing a bit more of what their life is like inside the camp that you guys are trying to improve and fight for. Stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Forward to it.
Okay. Well, I've talked well past our end time. So, to everybody else, to you watching, but not you guys who are trying to sell bots on my channel, get out of here. Everybody else though, and unlike those guys, when life is hard and you two have frost giant skeletons scratching on your cave walls, mock them viciously until they crumble. And if you can't do that, just try to make good choices. Until then, we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out, chat. You're the
Bye.
best. Bye.
We're gonna go raid Dice and Autism. They're playing masks. It's a lot of
Ooh,
fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big fan. Might start my own mask game. Who knows? And